we are on a delicate path. And have you seen that? Have you seen somebody who is rope walking? And that is a very delicate path, because a slight disturbance and they can fall. And this journey with Baba is also a very delicate path. And Baba says, if you want to move forward in this journey, then you must remain cautious about something. And what do we have to remain cautious about? So Baba says, don't become a friend of anyone who tells you wasteful or devilish things. So to listen and agree with others when they speak of defamatory things means to be disobedient to the Father. Now you see that when somebody tells us something defamatory or devilish or wasteful, why do we listen to them? That's the first question. So what is inside us that makes us listen to them? So, we always think that maybe somebody is trying to give us some useful information. That's the reason we listen to them. And we think that maybe that, this person is defaming somebody or saying something devilish or something, something against somebody or something that incites doubt and anger and resentment in me. But then maybe it is something useful. So we think that, maybe some valid information is coming. And that is why we listen to that defamatory thing. But the thing is, do you understand that defamation never comes from a place of good intention? If there is good intention, then the good intention, let's say I have a problem with my mother-in-law, let's say, or my mother-in-law has a problem with me. Then, okay, we have a problem, fine. And if my intention is to solve the problem, then is the tool of defamation working? If I go and tell 10,000 people about my mother-in-law or she tells about me, then is that going to solve the problem that we both have? That's not going to solve the problem that we both have. So, what is the intention behind defamation? So, we have to understand that defamation is never the solution. Never the solution for anything. Defamation comes from a place of jealousy. Anybody who tries to defame anybody is always under the influence of jealousy. So, I would badmouth somebody only when I am jealous of them. There is no other reason. And do you know that the sign of jealousy is you want to cause harm to the other person, because their good is not something you like. So you don't like their progress, their growth, you don't like what they have, you don't like, what they are acquiring. So then you try to harm them. And the biggest tool that you use for harming somebody is defame them, badmouth them, speak ill of them. This is what you do. And Baba says that, and this is a very age-old method. So, defamation never comes from a place of well-wishing. And sometimes, somebody will tell you that they are bad people and I am warning them against you. But the thing is, if they are bad people, let your experience decide it. Why is somebody so interested in saving you from the bad person? So, when somebody is trying to put it that way, that I'm saving you from that bad influence, they are not trying to save you. Nobody is so altruistic in this world that they are spending their time, energy, money and defaming somebody and saving you. They are saving themselves. So this is what happens. So we must understand this one law, that defamation never comes from a place of well-wishing, neither for the party who is defamed nor for the party who they say, I'm warning them against you. So both these things have to be very clear. And Baba says that when you make such a person your friend, somebody who defames, somebody who speaks ill and devilish things about another person, then what you're doing is you are encouraging that activity. You are encouraging that activity, and that person is performing a sin, but you are also indirectly participating in it. Because if you don't, so when somebody talks evil, when somebody talks ill, they need a person to listen. And a sin is committed when they speak, you listen, right? But if you don't listen, then who will they speak to? So you can stop that sin. You can even, you can even help them in not creating that sin if you don't listen to it. But if you listen to it, then you are, you are being an enabler. So there is this term in psychology which is called being an enabler. So if somebody is suffering from a bad habit and you are supporting them in continuing their bad habit, then you are called an enabler. So Baba says today that, you have to help them stop that habit by not listening to them. So anybody defaming anybody against anybody, you have to not listen to that. And Baba says, if you are listening to anybody, you are what do you say, you're being disobedient to the Father. So there is this question also. I have this friend who always criticizes her parents. I understand that we have a generation gap and problems are there, but I don't understand how is she jealous of her parents. No, she is not jealous of her parents. She is wanting something which they are not giving. So, the jealousy is not like one dimensional. So when somebody is in authority and they don't give what you want from them, then you start defaming them. Does that not happen in the office? So in the office also, or at home also, when somebody is in a position of authority and they have what you want, but they are not giving it to you, and they have their own reasons of not giving it to you, but you want it badly and you are not able to take it from them, then you start bad mouthing them. Yes, but the thing is, they have it and it is their prerogative to give it or not give it to you. And then if you have a problem, then bad mouthing them is not going to help you. So if some child also has a problem with the parent, then if you take it up with the parent, then it's going to help you. But if you take it up with the friend, is that going to help you? That's not going to help you. So again, in that case also, defamation is not helping. And another thing is, you see, so what is jealousy? Jealousy is when you want that which somebody has and you don't have it, and you want to take it forcefully. You want to use other methods to take it. You want to spread a bad word and force somebody to take it. So all that is jealousy. So jealousy is not just what you think is jealousy. So Baba says that, so this is complaints, criticism, they all stem from jealousy. Otherwise, why would somebody take out their precious time and talk about you? So people are as such so busy. They are so busy that they can't eat well, sleep well, and then they are taking out their precious time and talking about you. So there is a reason why they are talking about you. So you're doing something which they don't like, or you are in a position which they want to snatch, or they want to cause harm to you. That's why they are doing it. So Baba says that all these acts of defamation are coming from a evil place. And Baba says, and then if you also keep those things in your heart. So let's understand one more aspect of it. Now, if Baba has given us the Shrimat, keep Baba in your heart. But when you listen to bad things about somebody, then who occupies your heart at that time? It's that person. So Baba says that is also taking you away from Baba's remembrance. And then if you keep negative about somebody in your heart, then you know that negative just fills your mind all the time, and it's very difficult to drive away. So in this Sangam Yug, that which makes you take your heart away from Baba is not something you should engage in. And then Baba says, if you are listening to somebody and they are doing that, then you are being the client. And you know, there's a very simple rule in economics: wherever there is demand, there will always be supply. So you are encouraging the supply by creating the demand. And when you are nodding away and listening to it, then you are being a customer, and then they will supply you with more of that stuff. So that is also encouraging the sinner. Now, let me tell you one incident. So there was this one lady who came some days back, and she said that, I want to tell you about this sister, and she's like this and she's like that. And I said, and what motivation do you have about taking out your precious time and coming and telling all this to me? So she said, I heard it from somebody. So I said, okay. And how do you know that is credible information? So she said, I inquired that is credible information. So I said, you must understand that until and unless you have seen something firsthand, don't believe in its credibility, and don't go by somebody's word. And I have made it a rule in my life that I do not listen to anything that anybody says about anybody, because whenever somebody takes out time and talks about anybody, it is always an evil place that comes from. It comes from an evil place. It doesn't come from a good intention that somebody comes and talks about somebody. And if we had so much of good intention, then the world would be a better place. So, it's, we do not do seva, we do not talk about things that matter. We do not take out our time and energy to discuss gyan points which really matter, and we do not take it up with everybody to send this, to make them aware about things that they really need to be aware about. But we take out our time and energy to talk about people and talk about our opinion of them and this and that. Why? Because we are jealous of them. So Baba says that don't fall into this trap and don't make such people your friends. They are not your friends. They are spoiling your inner self. They are spoiling your state of mind. So obviously they are taking you away from Baba. So that's not a friend. So Baba says this, and then Baba says, be merciful and help them end their habits. And how do you help them end their habits? First, by not listening to them. That's the best way to help them end their habits. And you also stop listening to that friend, and you tell that friend that you go and talk to your parents if you have an issue with them, or talk with somebody who can help you with that, because you sure can't help her with that. Or if you think you can, then organize a meeting with her parents and herself and sit with them and take out a solution. And if you can't do that, then don't participate in it. It doesn't mean anything. So Baba says, wear the eye makeup of knowledge. Surma, in Hindi it is called surma. So wear the kajal or the surma or the eye makeup ointment of knowledge. This is a very delicate path. By moving along with great caution, you will continue to make progress. So Baba says, by moving along with great caution, being aware of these things only, you will make progress. Otherwise, your path, your journey will be affected by these things. So, and when you are, so let's say, what I adopt as a method in this life is, I always go by my experience. Yes. So see, Baba has given me the sensibility. Yes. And I am a child of Baba who is following Srimat. I have the power to discern and decide. So I move in with my sensibility. Okay, so maybe it could be that my sensibility is not 100%, right? But if my sensibility tells me that, I have this experience that this person is so and so, and that is my sensibility talking to me, then I would rather wait for my sensibility to tell me the opposite tomorrow, rather than listen to somebody's negative words and get affected by it. Yes, and if let's take an example that maybe I have a person who is a friend, and then I like that friend. That friend has helped me in many ways in life. And then somebody comes and talks ill about that friend. And I listen to that person and I spoil my heart against this friend. Okay, and that person may be, somebody of authority, somebody who I think will not lie, or somebody I think will not do anything out of jealousy. But if I listen to that person and I spoil my heart about this friend, then that means that I am doubting my sensibility also. Am I not doubting my sensibility? So if somebody has been my friend for 1 year, 2 years, and I have had a very good experience with them, and I am not somebody who is affected by vices, so my relationship is not based on lust or ego or anything of that kind, and then I have got nothing to lose because I don't need anything in that relationship, but we are growing together. And that relationship, and the only kind of relationships we have in Brahmin life are the relationships which help us grow, right? Are you friends with anybody who doesn't help you grow? No, you are only friends with somebody who helps you grow. And in Brahmin life, we choose our friends that way. We create our opinions based on our experience of whether there is growth in this relationship or not. And I'm a spiritual, I'm on a spiritual path. So I obviously understand that I'm choosing my relationships from experience which are helping me to grow. And then if somebody comes and spoils my heart about that, then I'm doubting my own sensibility, and I'm giving up on something which was helping me grow. And why? Because I'm falling into the trap of defamation. So Baba says, and just think about it, if you fall into these traps very often, then what would be your faith in you? What would be your faith in yourself? You discerned something, you decided to go with something, and then just because somebody said something, you change your opinion about it without any of your own experience. Then what is your faith in your own sensibility? And if you don't have faith in your own sensibility, how will you move forward in life? So go by your own experience, even if that means, falling down sometimes or doing it sometimes, and even if the other person will wag a finger at you and say, I told you so, it's okay. Go by your sensibilities. Do not doubt yourself. You are a Brahmin, you have the power to discern and decide, and do not give away your power to somebody just because you think that they are wiser than you, or they are they think that this is good for you. So Baba says, don't give up your authority, because I feel that if you keep doing that, then one day you will be in a place where you will doubt your sensibilities like anything, and you will keep going to other people to check whether something is good, someone is good or not. And in Brahmin life, if you cannot discern and decide for yourself, then how will you not have a wazir in Satyug? So Baba says, if you are a king in Satyug, you will not have a minister, you will not have a advisor, you will not have somebody who will advise you on matters. But if you don't have the power to discern and decide in this life, then how will you not have an advisor in Satyug? You will need an advisor. So you don't plan to be a king then, right? You always plan to be a subject who will be advised. So Baba says this is something that we need to understand. And in my experience, I have always understood that defamation never comes from a place of good intention. And however much anybody will say it, but you must understand that it comes from an intention to cause harm to the other person rather than good to your own self or to the party who they are talking to. So this is something. And then Baba says, always use knowledge to discern everything. Always use knowledge. Don't use hearsay to discern anything. Use knowledge. If somebody says this person is not good, use knowledge. What is the parameter of a good person? Somebody who is making effort, somebody who is, so nobody is perfect, of course, but somebody who is making effort, and you can see that effort, you can see that effort that person is putting in, and somebody says that that's a wrong person. No, any person who is making effort based on Srimad cannot be a wrong person. So let's take, so we must understand these traps, these things, and in this day and age when there is so much of social media, and defaming somebody has become so easy. So earlier, spreading a word was very difficult, but these days spreading a word is very, very easy, because people have only this kind of an entertainment, listen to something, forward it to the next, forward it to the next. This is what is happening. So Baba says that in this day and age, you must use your ointment of knowledge, your Gyan Surma. So this is something that Baba says. And then today Baba says that in bhakti we write wrong things about Satyug. We say that in heaven also there is sorrow, and then we talk evil things about Sri Krishna. We say he stole, he did this, that. And Baba says that, or for example, in the life history of every deity, we write negative stuff. So for example, we say that Shiva is Shankar, and then Shankar was into drugs, and he was so there was bhang, and there was all this nasha that was being done by Shankar, and then in the name of Shankar on Shivratri people drink a lot and do this and that. So all of these things are written in the name of God, and we will say that the Devis, they killed, and it is okay to kill, and then there was killing and there was bloodshed done by deities. So all these things which are so not deity like are written in the stories of deities. And Baba says, why so? Because there is a simple law. Jaisi drishti vaisi srishti. As is your vision, so is the world. So everybody writes a story with their own vision. Yes, so do you know that when you talk about your life, then you are actually talking about your perception, not about your life. So you tell any story, whenever you are talking about any story, you are talking about your perception of the story, not about the story. So if you want to know somebody's perception, or you want to know their personality, then you know it from the story they are telling, because any story is never about facts. It is always about the person's vision of facts. Yes, and this question that came, that the friend criticizes the parents. So what does that speak of the friend? That she has a habit of criticism. She has a sanskar of criticism. That's it. And then it's not just the parents, but soon you will notice that when you don't agree with her, she will criticize you also, because that's the sanskar. So, from any story, and I learned this from experience. I'm telling this from experience, There was this one girl, and she once came and told me a lot of things about her parents. And then I gave her a lot of shelter because at that time I was very naive. It's many years back, and I thought maybe she's in trouble, or she's not, she is not able to keep up with the events happening. And then I gave her a lot of shelter, and then she started doing the same thing to me also, because that's a sanskar. So when somebody tells you something about somebody, know that that's the sanskar of the person speaking, not the reality of that which is spoken about. And the reality is only what Baba says. The reality is only that which Baba says. So Baba is giving us a reality of souls. Baba is giving us a reality of the world. Baba is giving us a reality of what happened through time. That's the reality. Everything else that was told was based on the vision of the teller. So people who told those stories had a vision, and according to their vision, they told the story. So Baba says, when the vision became vicious, when from Dwapar Yuga the souls became vicious, they had lust, anger, ego, attachment and greed, and they created stories about deities. Then in those stories, the deities had lust, anger, ego, attachment and greed. Okay, so this is something. And then so there is another question. This friend has a habit of criticism, and when I stay with her, I also end up criticizing my parents. So do I also have a sanskar of criticism? Of course, we all have many sanskars, but it's not a question of who you are, because right now we are all depleted. We have many things in us. It's a question of who do you want to become. And now you choose the company of that which you want to become, not the company of that which triggers who you right now are. Okay, so we all have sanskars, but we have to safeguard ourselves from those triggers which trigger our old sanskars, and be in the company of that which triggers those sanskars which we want to create. And what is that company? Only Baba. Only Baba, yes. And let me tell you one thing about the sanskar of criticism. We criticize others because we are unhappy with ourselves. Yes, and obviously we are unhappy because we are empty. And the only reason, the only way to fill that is be with Baba. Fill yourself with the happiness that Baba gives you. And just like, that very old example that we give, you cannot pull out darkness. So even if, and Gulzar Dadiji used to say this very beautiful thing, check and change. Check and change. Don't just check. If you keep checking, you will feel bad about yourself. So, if I come to know today that, I have a sanskar of criticism or jealousy or anger or, whatever sanskar, laziness or self-sabotage or whatever, I have a lot of sanskars. And let's say I come to know that today, because I observed myself in a detached manner, I came to know. Now, when I come to know about my sanskar, then I must also know and appreciate that now I have Baba. And Baba is the opposite of my sanskar. And the more I follow Baba's Srimad, I will get rid of my sanskar. So, when Baba says check, Why does Baba say check your sanskars? Not because he wants us to make bad and guilty about them. No, he wants us to evaluate how much of change we require. Because we come from a world where we don't acknowledge that there is something wrong with me. Yes. And then Baba says that if you check, you will come to a place where you know there are many things wrong right now with me. And then you will appreciate Baba's method and Baba's path and embrace it more and more, imbibe Baba's teachings and get over it. So Baba says this checking makes you acknowledge the need for Baba's Shrimat and the need for following Baba's points of knowledge. So that need, in order to appreciate that need, because I always feel that Baba in the Murli says that 63 births of Vikarma you have done. And then when we sit with ourselves, we think, no, life is okay. What Vikarma have I done? It's pretty good. Okay, I had a cough yesterday and a cold day before that. That is fine. So I must not have done a lot of Vikarma. So today I may not get up at Amrit Vela, and why spoil my sleep? I'll get up at 6 and meditate. Because maybe, others have a lot of Vikarma, but I don't have that much of baggage. And then, we just relax. We don't see our sanskars, and until big karmic settlements come up. And do you understand that in the end, everything will come up suddenly? And then what will we do? So Baba says, don't check your your meter of Vikarma by what karmic settlement has come up today. Know that Baba is giving us the knowledge about what kind of scenes we will have to see towards the end. And with that knowledge, understand, are you in that state of virtue and power to deal with all of that? No, because we have had 63 births of Vikarma, so we don't have that. So I have to get up in the morning. I have to fill the soul with the light of Baba, the might of Baba. And I have to embrace purity. I have to pay attention to constant remembrance during the day, because this is what I need in order to cross that scene in the end, pass, have my result and go to Satyug. So Baba says this is why look at everything in the mirror of knowledge. So when you find out that you have a sanskar, don't get bogged down with it. You have a sanskar, okay, but you have Baba also. And when you have Baba, then what is a sanskar in front of Baba? Baba is giving you so much help, so much strength to overcome that sanskar. So just do that and get over it. Yes, and this is the age for sanskar transformation. Baba has come for sanskar transformation. But what we need to understand is sanskars will not get transformed if you don't follow the method. And what is the method? First, you will shift your consciousness. So it is consciousness, attitude, action, then habit. So if you don't shift your consciousness, which will happen by practicing soul consciousness and remembering Baba, if you don't shift your consciousness, your attitude will not shift. If your attitude doesn't shift, your action will not shift. And if your actions don't shift, your sanskars cannot shift. This is why Baba Shrimat is all about consciousness shift. So Baba says, consider yourself to be a soul. Don't fall into body consciousness. Remember Baba. And if you do that, your consciousness shifts. And accordingly, your attitude and action will shift and habit will. Okay, Om Shanti.